glutes and groin. We're not even going to talk about anything other than glutes and groin today. Get the ball out, put it on the floor, okay? And all I want you to do, familiar to many, new to some, is sit on that ball, okay? We're working on your glutes today. First of all, we're going to start smashing them with this ball, okay? So a bit of foam rolling. Glutes, if you're not sure, it's your butt cheek. It's as simple as that. Don't get stuck up in trying to find the right spot to go on. Sit on the ball, and all I want you to do, you can see I'm kind of angled towards you, so that I'm getting more weight on that cheek that's on the ball. And all I'm going to do is just start doing little circles from the center, creating bigger circles. Imagine the big spiral, okay? Just go bigger and bigger, working the full width of your glute until finally you're at the biggest possible circle and you're working around the perimeter of your glute. And then I want you to come back in with that spiral, making the circle smaller until you get down, back into the dead center of your glute. Why are we doing that? Okay, I want you to, we're going to start doing this more, is to get you a chance to see exactly what you're dealing with throughout the whole muscle group itself. So your whole right or left glute, whatever one you're on, I want you to explore it all for this first 30 seconds. See where all the areas of high pain are, because a lot of the time people just stop on pain and it's not actually the worst possible spot, because this morning we're going to spend enough time to get maybe a couple of painful spots sorted out. So now that you've acquainted yourself with your glutes, if you like, I want you to find the areas of high pain very quickly. Okay, and it's a case of, you've just gone round the whole area of that glute. So go to the area that feels tender. And it's the usual sketch, okay, it's not new to us here. I've found an area of high pain, okay, it feels pretty rotten, it feels pretty disgusting. And straight away, okay, my glutes are trying to tense up. So the glute that I'm on with this ball right now, it's trying to tense up and contract to try and stop me going on this ball, because it's painful, that's your brain, okay? It doesn't want you being in pain. So now, the first part, all I'm going to do is just rock side to side, left to right, little circles. What do we call that? Come on, someone, word it out. What do we call it? Scrubbing, you're damn right, okay? That's us scrubbing that area of high pain. So I'm staying on the area of high pain, I'm focusing on my breathing, and I'm just trying to gradually increase the weight that I'm putting onto that ball, okay? So the idea is you'll feel the muscles starting to relax, okay? And that's what we're after, to be able to have that complete relaxation of the glutes. And you'll know because the ball will be enveloped by the glutes, okay? There's a new, I like that word now. That's the best word to describe it. So you'll feel the ball sink into the glutes. If your glutes are tense and you might not realize it, you'll feel that just maybe this top surface that that ball's on top, okay? So I'm scrubbing it, it's not nice, okay? Don't be under any illusion that I'm sitting here and having a great time. It's not nice at all. So I'm scrubbing the hell out of it, okay? And I want you to simply just try and load more weight on while you're scrubbing that area of high pain. Now, as always, it's down to you, okay? If you want to fart about on an area that doesn't feel painful and you're just feeling nice, that's up to you, okay? But if you want to get something out of it, you've got to get in there and try to endure the pain and suffering if you like. But remember, it's isolated to the area that we're working on. We shouldn't be getting pain in other areas of our body, okay? So it's the kind of pain you would expect. Right, so I've been on here a wee while now. Now I can start throwing in my different techniques, okay? So what's the first one? Mouth it off, give me one. Someone, you don't need to unmute yourself. I can lip read. Anyone, someone, we're testing. Contract, relax, you're damn right, good, I like it. I can also kind of half do sign language, if that's what you're meaning. Contract, relax, so what is easy to do on the glutes, it's easy. All I need to do is squeeze my butt together, okay? You feel that contraction, and then relax. And when you relax, the idea is that ball just sinking a bit deeper. So focus on your breathing. Let's get on these areas of high pain. We're not here for a holiday, okay? We're not here for a bit of mindfulness. We're here to get the job done. Squeeze the butt, relax, okay? Smash it up some more. And then finally, the third technique, and we don't have to do it in order, remember, you can do this at any point you want. So this final technique is we're smash and floss, if you like. That's when we're really getting into it. That's usually the worst one. And in here, it's a simple case of pin that area of high pain, ground zero, the worst part, push it into that ball as hard as you can, staying relaxed. And then you can start pumping this leg around. For those of you who know how to swim, okay, get the breaststroke going with that leg, okay? So you're bringing the knee up, taking it out. That's reverse breaststroke, Gooft. Okay, who done you? Right, so I'm pulling it up, and all I'm doing here is just lengthening and shortening the glutes while I'm getting into that ball. Now, if you move your leg in a certain position, okay, and it feels worse in that position, hold it in that position and give it some scrubbing. Okay, so let's go, let's go. Some of you look like your screen's frozen. very relaxed looking faces. Let's get into this. Okay. So I'm on that area of high pain. Finally, while I'm on that area of high pain, if you want to take it up a notch, get onto that elbow, get that leg across, and that's really going to open up the glutes and let you get stuck in there. Okay, I want you to spend 10 more seconds, and then we're going to move on to the second area of high pain. Okay, so we're smashing the hell out of these glutes. It doesn't feel nice, but we know something good's going to come of it. So please be proactive with this. I know some of you are here for a mental break from the daily grind, but get in there, get it done, get better. So relax there, okay? All I want you to do, you can have a breather if you want. We're still working on the same glute. So I'm on my right glute. I've worked on an area of high pain quite high up in my glutes, and now I'm going to look for another area of high pain on the same glutes, because there'll be plenty there. Trust me, there's plenty there, and you know there is. So straight away, I'm on there. I'm going to have a wee explore around. Oof, and there we go, there's another one. For a lot of people, beginners especially, you just need to sit on this ball and it'll have you jumping and hitting your head off the ceiling. Okay, if you're a bit more advanced and you do this a bit more regular, you maybe don't have as many areas of high pain, okay? So it's just a case of getting stuck in. And I always say it with this stuff, it's not easy. It takes a lot out of you mentally. And it's certainly one way to get your body temperature up if you're suffering through pain for a good few minutes. So here I'm on my second area of high pain I would identify. Same techniques, okay? Scrub the hell out of it. And all I'm trying to do is just try to achieve that state of relaxation in the glutes so that that ball is really in there, okay? And it's just grinding between the ball and the bone. And you're just trying to break up. That's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to break up all this tied up muscle tissue, restore a bit of suppleness to the tissue itself, okay? So think about it. It's just like a mortar and pestle. Is pestle, is it, give me a, it is pestle, isn't it? Always get confused. Mortar and pestle, is it pestle? It's not pestle, that's the blooming. So you're in there, you're grinding up your herbs and spices. That's what we're doing to our glutes, okay? And that's all I want you to do. Don't overcomplicate it, it's very simple. So I'm on here, I'm getting a good bit of weight on this now. So now I can start my techniques, because I know at this point, okay, starting the techniques pretty early, you're smashing and flossing and you're contracting relax. If you start it too early, you've probably not got that much weight on the ball in the first place, or the foam roller. So we're squeezing the butt to contract the muscle and then relax. And each time you relax, you should just feel that ball's getting a wee bit deeper. Now, yep, it's not a relaxed position, is it? We're holding our body weight on the arms. Arms are getting tired. Boo-hoo. Okay, like I say, this is not relaxation, kind of stretching, okay? I know, shocking, but what did you expect? Right, so I'm pinning it, okay? And then I can start moving my leg around in different directions, just trying to lengthen. That's all I'm doing here, okay? There's no set angle. All I'm doing is just trying to lengthen and shorten the glutes while I'm pinning them to the ball. And then I can get down, again, get that leg up if you can manage it, and you'll really find that you can get stuck into those glutes in a whole different way. Okay, 10 more seconds and then we're going to move on to the other side. Simple as that this morning. So big, powerful muscle group, the glutes. Used and abused daily, and it's one of them that you'll probably find you just constantly have aches and pains and hot spots in. Right, we're done. Okay, if you need a breather, have a breather. I'm going to have a quick sip of water. Like I say, I do this twice a week with you, and this ain't easy. This is pretty intense, okay? Gets the sweat on and takes a lot out of you. So take a breather and get back into it. So don't waste any time. Let's go on to the next glutes. The next glutes, your other set, okay? So you've done one side, you're on to the other. Okay, so start again from beginning. We're going to start off exploring them. Get to know your glutes. We're going to start off with little circles. Little circles in the dead center of that butt cheek, and just start increasing the size of those circles until eventually you're on the outside perimeter of your glutes, and that varies person to person. Okay, so go for it. Get to know your glutes. Find those areas of high pain, make a mental note, okay? And then once you're doing those full circles, start coming back in until eventually you're back in on the center. So the idea is I'm just trying to keep that muscle tissue relaxed, explore the full area of my glutes, find those areas of high pain. It might not necessarily mirror the same spots as the other side, by the way. So don't just expect it to. Right, okay, and then there we go. I've found my first area of high pain. So I'm going to set myself up, get myself in position on the ball. Boom, there we are, I'm on it. So just little scrubs now. It feels pretty damn sore, quite a large area, but I'm just going to try and hone in on the worst part and where it's coming from, and that takes time. So I can feel these glutes aren't fully relaxed. I can feel a bit of tension in them. They're trying to fight it. My brain's trying to activate them so I don't cause myself pain. So I have to breathe, okay? I introduce it slowly, keep the scrubbing going. And you go for it this time, okay? So you know the techniques we're after, you know the purpose. No excuse, let's get into it. Good, good, that's us. So work that area, you've well and truly identified it now, and at this point you should be well and truly getting stuck into it. So there should be a decent bit of weight on here. By all means, start contracting, relaxing, start smashing and flossing, that's down to you. Don't feel that area of high pain and then just half-arsedly go off to the side of it. Get on the worst possible spot, get stuck into it, focus on your breathing, okay? Try not to let your mind wander, okay? Try not to be easily distracted, because it's so easy, like I say, to spend 2 minutes just kind of sitting on this ball, wobbling side to side on it, while you're busy looking at something else that's taking your mind off it, okay? We're trying to be conscious of what we're doing and trying to get something out of it, okay? Especially the glutes. These glutes get matted up tight, you're going to have all sorts of problems with your movement patterns. You're going to feel tightness in your glutes, lower back, hamstrings, that posterior chain is going to be all tacked down, okay? So for most of us, it's in our best interest to get the best out of this we possibly can. 20 more seconds and then we're going to move on to pain spot number 2. So go for it, you get stuck into it now. Good, I recommend you sit off of it, catch your breath, get a drink of water, take a breather. Because like I say, if you've done that properly, you will. If it was quite a high area of pain, you need a breather. Okay, I need a breather. Compose yourself, and then let's get going again. Don't take all day. So I'm back on, same glute. Okay, and then I'm just looking for that other area of high pain that I might have, which I definitely have. I've got many of them. So I'm on it. Pretty much found it already. There it is. Bit of scrubbing. Let's get stuck into it. Now, if you were in a rush, okay, and your glutes were feeling a bit jammed up tight, and you were about to work out, go a run, lift weights, etc. You can do this on the foam roller, okay? So you can get your foam roller exactly where the ball is. Difference is that foam roller is going to work the entire width of the glute, okay? So you can get a full smashing of the glutes before you begin anything, okay? Unjam them a wee bit. But what you're feeling right now, that level of pain and discomfort, how deep this ball's getting in, you'll never achieve that with the foam roller, okay? So the foam roller's always got its place. We can still use it on this muscle group. It's good for a warm-up or a quick bit of maintenance if you're in a rush, but to really get stuck into the nooks and crannies, that's where the ball comes into its own. So if you are feeling a bit tight around the lower back, if things are feeling a bit stiff towards your hips and pelvis, okay, then get stuck into it with the foam roller quickly if you're in a rush. And then when you've got more time, like now, this is when we get in and give it a proper good bit of foam rolling with the ball. Okay, so I'm in there, bit of weight on it now. Okay, it doesn't mean to say you've got your full body weight on it. Now, the end goal would be, like I say, to have your full body weight on this area of high pain and for there to be no pain in the first place. But you're trying to keep, you're trying to put as much weight on here as you possibly can, but, or while keeping that muscle tissue relaxed. So some of us could probably endure a lot of pain and just go, ah, okay, but we're certainly not relaxed, which defeats the purpose. Okay, we need that muscle tissue relaxed as we smash the hell out of it. Good. Okay, we're nearly there. So get the most out of it now. 20 seconds, give it your all, as much as you can suffer in pain. Fantastic. Right, start finishing up there. Quick sip of water if you need it. Okay, and we're going to get stuck into a little bit of flexibility work now for the glutes. Okay, so you need your mat, you need something comfortable, because if you've only got one mat, okay, the mat is for the back leg, not for the front leg. You don't really need it in the front leg. So if you've got a mat, it doesn't matter if you've got a carpet. All I want to do first of all is get this leg out at 90 degrees. Most of you know what's coming, okay? It's either going to be all right for some or hellish for others, and it's been a wee while since we've done it, so chances are it's going to be hellish. So I've got my leg at 90 degrees. Now what I recommend, pin that foot down. The purpose is we don't want this foot to slide, because as soon as you get up on top of here, if you've got a lot of tightness in the hip and glutes, you're going to feel that foot trying to slide backwards, and you're going to feel this knee trying to slide forwards. So what I recommend before we get in this position, we start loading onto it, pin the hand onto the foot and put the other hand in front of the knee, okay, right in front of it. And now all I'm going to do is imagine that you're trying to get in a press up position now with this. So I'm going to get up on top, okay, and I'm going to get that back leg. Now this is where it depends on your own ability. Okay, this back leg I'll spin round so you can see in a minute, but look at the back leg, not the front leg. I'm trying to keep that knee on the ground and get that back leg nice and straight behind me, and then try to get it in line, okay, in line with my body. So it's not way out here, okay, but that's where you need to work on it, depending on your own ability here, okay? So this is me from the front. You can see the front leg, trying to keep that shin as straight as I can, 90 degrees to my body or whatever, and not letting that leg move, okay? So straight away, I'm feeling all that tension on that hip, okay? The hip capsule's getting it, the glutes getting it, all the muscles within the joint are getting it. Oh, for a lot of you, if it's that bad, you'll find that you're tense, you're fighting it, it doesn't feel relaxed at all. So guess what we do? Focus on the breathing. It helps take your mind off the pain, but it's also going to help that muscle tissue relax. And all I'm trying to do is load more weight down onto it. Now don't move, I'm going to spin to the side so you can see exactly what's going on with my body from this position. So, same position, boom, boom, pin the leg. The back leg is simply trying to keep it in a nice relaxed state on the ground. Okay, you get different variations of this where we're up and all sorts. Okay, this is just plain and simple flexibility and stretching. Okay, so I'm on it. We're feeling the stretch in here. Okay, so you should be feeling it spanning from the glutes into the hip capsule, and you're going to feel it anywhere around here predominantly. And that's where I want you to imagine you're trying to get that butt on the ground. It's never going to happen, okay? But because you'll break your leg if you do. But we're trying to get that down here, okay? So getting the weight down onto it doesn't feel nice. For some, it will feel good. For others, it will feel hellish. All I'll say is just get into it now. If you feel you're doing no bad, what you can do now is don't let that leg move, but get down onto the elbows. And then as a result, you're going to lengthen it out even more, and it's going to let you get more weight down onto it, okay? So trying to get that back nice and straight as best you can, okay? But if you're in this position now, you've just tried this position, and you're shaking, you're unrelaxed, it feels like hell, okay? You don't want to be in that position. So come back up onto your hands. So I'm focusing on my breathing. It's static stretching. We're trying to take it further than our brain quite wants us to, but safely, okay? So we're trying to get better. As a result, it has to be uncomfortable, and you have to focus. And you don't fart about, and you don't ease in and out. You're holding that point, and you're trying to develop on that point that you've held it at, okay? Trying to take it further for that 2-minute period rather than in and out, in and out, in and out, okay? Our brain's a stubborn thing, okay? It takes a bit of convincing. I would always say any less than 2 minutes and you've not really convinced it. But you're trying to take it further. We never want pain. We never want pain with stretching. Discomfort, absolutely. This does not feel nice. I wouldn't fall asleep in this position, that's for sure, okay? But maybe one day, if you keep at these classes, maybe you could, right? Okay, so I'm going to come up out of it slowly, because remember, we don't want to rush and go the wrong way and end up hurting something. And all I want you to do is stand up, okay? Let the blood flow, walk around, crack some squats if you need to. Now, if you've done that properly and things are pretty tight, you'll feel a bit off balance now, okay? You'll feel, okay, that side's nice and mobile in the hip, but this side's still feeling a bit tacked down, okay? So it's almost like you're kind of half cut, walking home for the pub. Not that we do that anymore. Right, okay, quick sip of water. I'm just thirsty this morning. We're getting a lot of water breaks. Right, we're going for it. Next side, okay? So, for me, because it's all about me, this side's always the worst for me. I always feel this side's a lot stiffer in here, in at the glutes, in at the hips. So what you will see is what it will look like probably if you are a beginner, where I'm really struggling to keep this knee down, okay, and where I go with it. So here we go. Pin the foot, yep. Pin the hand in front of the knee. Now look at the position I'm in already. You can see that tightness is already affecting my body position. I'm struggling. I know this next bit's going to be hellish. So I'm going to get up, put the hand back down, get that leg fixed first. Fix this leg position first. Okay, if that leg position isn't the way you want it, okay, sort it out. And then that back leg, I'm just going to wiggle it back. Straight away, oh, does not feel relaxing. I'm not even feeling much of a stretch. It just feels awkward and not quite right, okay, because everything's fighting. Everything's fighting this position now. Don't go in this position. What the hell are you trying to do to us? That's what's going on in the brain. But now I just need to focus on my breathing. Try to get that mind-muscle connection on the go, okay? So think about what we're doing. Tune your brain into the area that we're on, the hips, the glutes. Think about that area. Think about that zone. Think about the muscle tissue around the hip. I'm trying to relax. Focus on my breathing. Good. So think about it. If you have to, shut your eyes to help you think about it. If you're easily distracted, okay, and you're looking at those skirting boards thinking, geez, oh man, I need to get in there with the hoover. Don't. Shut the eyes, switch off, focus on the hips themselves. Good. So it's feeling a bit better, okay? I'm feeling like I'm getting a bit of a stretch on now. Am I ready to go into my elbows? Who knows? I'm going to try it though. I'm going to go into my elbows, but I do not want this leg to move, okay? So don't go into your elbows and let this foot swing back. So if you feel maximum stretch, feels like hell, there's no sense going on your elbows. If you go down onto your elbows now and you're just going, and you can't achieve that relaxed state, then there's no sense in it. However, if you go into your elbows, it feels like hell and you'd rather it didn't, stay on your elbows, okay? Get on with it and get better. So this feels pretty nasty, but I'm feeling a pretty damn good stretch from those glutes into the hip. I'm going to focus on my breathing here. I've been hanging out in this position for a wee bit. I'm going to try and fine tune it. Okay, so I know that my back's not straight. I know it's arched because it's hellish. So I'm going to try and straighten myself up a little bit. But remember, it never comes at the cost of this leg starting to swing back. Okay, so this front leg, still in the same position it was when we had it pinned. Focus on the breathing. We're nearly there, everybody. A damn good stretch, this one. A very damn good stretch, but it is one of them that's pretty nasty. But the more you do it, trust me, the better you'll get at it. And it's just been a wee while since we've picked it up on these classes. Good, okay. Ease out when you're ready, and I would definitely encourage you to stand up, walk around, and catch your breath. Yep. Right, just get on with it, for God's sake. Right, hip capsule time. This is a good one, but it'll feel strange, okay? Now, if you're familiar with it, it's this one. It's that one where we push out and prise the hip out the thingy, out the pelvis. If you're familiar with it, go, get into it, get it done, okay? Because I'm going to break it down for people who have maybe never done it before. Now, the hip capsule, okay, the actual joint itself, we've got all the big muscle groups. We're used to stretching all them out, okay? We're used to feeling those big muscle groups stretching, but we don't often concern ourselves with the actual joint itself and all the little muscles within the joint. So this is a very isolated stretch. You're going to feel it very much on the hip capsule itself, which is the whole point. So don't expect to feel any big muscle groups around contracting, okay? We need to achieve a very relaxed state. That's important on this. If you're not relaxed in this area while you're doing it, you're not going to feel it. You will not feel anything. Now, I can tell you, if you're doing it for the first time, when it comes to doing it for the 5th time, each time you do this, you're going to feel it getting better and better and better. You're going to start understanding how to get into the position better. All I can do is try to explain it as best I can, but the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. So first of all, I want you to get on all fours, okay, and I want you to feel like the weight's balanced evenly across all fours. First and foremost, I want you to do the right leg first because it'll make sense to you when I'm talking you through it. So all I want you to do is take the left leg and I want you to put it behind you and just kind of hover it above the ground, but rest it on the ground, but I want you to feel like all the weight is now on your right leg. Now look at my hips, okay? I've got the pelvis directly above the knee. I don't have it here and I don't have it way back here. I've got that knee, that upper leg nice and straight. All I want to do here is try and think consciously, right, all my body weight is going onto my right knee. And this is why you need a good bit of matting or flooring below you. If it's uncomfortable, you'll not relax, okay? I can tell you that now. If you need to double up your mat or get a cushion or something, get on it. Now, all I want you to think about, all the weight is on that right knee. And all I'm thinking, think about the hip joint. I want you to push the hips out, away from your body, as if you're trying to. So the femur, the big long bone in your leg, okay, longest bone in the human body, okay, I want you to imagine you're trying to pop and prise that out of the hip joint, okay, which is here. If you're not sure, look at me now, you'll feel it, okay? So we're trying to pop it, prise it out is the best kind of word to use. So I'm pushing out, pushing out, pushing out, and as I go, I just adjust my position. Now there's a few things we have to be conscious of the whole time we're doing this. One is, I want to feel like I'm completely relaxed. So think about that right leg. Is it relaxed or is it kind of fighting a bit? I want it relaxed. Second thing is I want all that weight on my right leg always. So see, every so often, I recommend you lift that other leg up. So in this instance, my left leg, just to make sure that I'm not putting too much weight on that and all the weight is indeed on my right. If you feel a big difference when you lift that leg up, you know that you didn't have all the weight on your right leg. So every so often in this movement, keep lifting that other leg up. So hopefully at this point, you're at maximum poppage, okay? You feel like that femur is about to pop out your hip joint, okay? Yep, if it does, I hold no liability and I'll hang up. Okay. If I see anybody rolling about their carpet like they've dislocated their hip, then I'm hanging up. I'm only joking, let's get serious. So I'm at that point now where I feel it's about to pop out. Now what I'm going to do is start slowly walking my body forward. And when I say slowly, it's slow. Because as I move forward, so I'm still trying to pop it out. I'm still trying to keep that strain on the hip. But I'm going to start slowly. In theory, if I'm looking at my hips now, I'm just trying to simply go to here. Okay, I'm trying to lock that leg out, but it's a slow process. Now this is where it depends on, the more you do this, the faster you'll be able to go. But we have to go slow as a beginner, because if you go fast, you'll end up losing that relaxation in the hip. Okay, now this is a damn good one. If you're not in the habit of doing this, it might feel strange, but what you should be feeling right now is that that hip capsule, at that hip joint, you'll feel a stretch, a very isolated stretch and pressure, and that's what I'm after. So as I'm lowering my body down, I'm still continually trying to pop that femur out. Okay, now we shouldn't be getting pain. Okay, I'm seeing some faces that make me worried. We should not be in pain. It should feel, yeah, it feels like a stretch, feels kind of strange. It might feel pretty uncomfortable if you've never done it before. Now, if you look at me, I'm completely locked out. Okay, fair bit of weight in my arms, but I'm still trying, remember, lift that leg up. Does it feel like all the weight's on that other leg? It should. Then I return back to the position I was in. We're nearly there, everybody. Don't worry. I appreciate it's not the best position to be in for a long period of time. So I'm going to come back up. But as I come back up, again, I'm moving quite fast here, but I've been doing it a wee while. And I'm going to move back down. So all I want you to do, all we're trying to do is keep that stretch on, keep that pressure by popping that femur out, but we're maintaining. We have to maintain that relaxed state always. So I'm trying to mobilize as I stretch. So I'm getting that tension on, that stretch on the joint itself, but I'm moving it through a full range of movement. So if you're not sure, you can look and see what I'm doing. This is where the more you'll do it, you'll be able to move at this speed. But we always want to do the first one nice and slow. Okay, now I want you to think about starting to finish up. Okay, so what I want you to do, and this is the beauty of it, if you've done it right, you'll feel it. You'll feel it now. You'll feel it in that very isolated pocket. I want you to stand up, and what you should feel if you've done it correctly, or if you definitely needed to do it, you'll feel wonky. You'll feel really wonky. You'll feel like you've been, do you see? You feel it? You're walking around like you've had a hip replacement, okay? And you're like, well, maybe I do need one. So Hopefully, if you've done that properly, it's like anything, you'll definitely instantly feel the difference. So I'm going to move on to the next side. You'll feel really loose in the hip, okay? And all I'll ever say to you is let that be a lesson to you, okay? You should think about how much mobility, how much you're restricting yourself if this isn't the case for normal day-to-day life. So if that's feeling like it's pretty tight or uncomfortable, get into it more. We're going to get on to the next side. I won't talk as much, okay? But beginners, rest assured, because I remember when I first started doing this on live, I was thinking, no one's getting this. People are looking at me, they're getting crab it. Okay, what is this? So I'm on all fours. Now I want my left leg. I'm going to put that right leg out behind me, okay, so that all the weight's on the left. I'm going to make sure that that hip is directly above the knee, so I'm not starting away forward. And then all I want to do is just slowly start pushing out to the side. Now I'll show you from this angle so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'll move that arm out of the way. All I'm doing is just simply pushing those hips out to the side. You can see that, okay, simple. And as a result, feeling all that tension here, but I'm going to move back here so you can see better. So pushing out, pushing out, pushing out. What am I thinking about? I'm staying relaxed. Staying relaxed, making sure that that knee is relaxed. The quads, the hamstrings are relaxed. And all I'm doing is pushing out gradually, gradually, gradually until it feels like I'm trying to prise, best kind of word for it here, prise the femur out of the hip capsule. We're popping it out. We're trying to. We're not going to, okay? Once you feel like you're at maximum range with that one, you're getting a damn good stretch. You've achieved that relaxed state. Lift the other leg up just to confirm that you've definitely got all the weight on that. Rest it back down, but only gently. And then I want you to start walking forward. Now remember, the rate at which you go at, I want the first one slow. But beginners, if you move and you lose that sensation in your hip, that stretch sensation in the hip capsule, if you lose it, stop, move back a wee bit, focus on your breathing, relax, find that relaxed state and move again. All that happens is, see if you're moving forward and you lose that sensation, you've probably just tensed up, okay, or you've put too much weight on your arms. But for most people, as they move through, you'll start to tense up a wee bit, especially if it gets to a point that's uncomfortable, and especially if your knee's not comfortable. So if you're on a hard floor or you've got a stoosh, I've not used that word in years, stoosh, if your mat's stoosh, okay, then your knee's not going to be comfortable. So if you start to feel your knee's not comfortable, what happens? You start to tense, okay, you lose that sensation. So I'm moving slowly, slowly, slowly. Lift that other leg up off the floor every now and again, remember. Make sure that you're not taking up too much weight on the other one, okay, until eventually you feel that your hips are pretty much locked out. This is either going to be the best mobility drill you've ever done, or it's going to be a complete waste of time. But all I would say is, if this is you doing it for the first time and it's just feeling a bit strange and a bit alien as to what you're trying to do, it's a very, very effective and very good, worthwhile stretch to do. It just takes a wee while to be able to get better at it, so don't write it off yet. So now I've done that full one, I'm going to start doing some reps, but slowly, and maintaining that nice, relaxed state. Okay, so I'm working through that range of movement, trying to mobilize it. Does it feel comfortable? No, not even close. Good, okay. Start thinking about finishing up there, and hopefully you got the whole point in that one. Right, I thought I'd throw that one in. Ties in nicely with the glutes and the glute stretch we've just done and the smashing of the glutes. So that concludes glutes, everyone. Now we're going to move on to the adductors, the groin, okay? The groin and many other things in between. Groin, big one, won't go into it too much. We need good groin mobility, okay? A lot of people pull out the muscles when they start stretching to full stride, when they're sprinting, things feel tight, okay? Or when you're squatting, you're trying to pull the knees apart and it ain't happening, your knees start caving in. We lose stability in our squat as well. So that's all you need to know. Your groin, okay, we're going to foam roll it. You could, in theory, probably use the ball, but I would recommend on this one the foam roller just for the surface area and the area that we're trying to get into. It's not the most dignified of positions, but needs must. I want you to lie down on your front, and all I'm going to do is just get that leg up. Now, what I don't want you to do, because if you've done if you've done the last mobility class when we've done quads, okay, I don't want you working on that area close to the knee, okay, because that's us getting into that realm of that horrible area. Yep, yes, it's good to do, absolutely, but we're trying to get further up. So I want you to straight away get the foam roller and take it halfway up your leg, okay, so it's halfway up your leg. Now remember, I've got my leg in this position, it's side on, okay, I don't want to be on the quads. Okay, so make sure that it's not like this. That's why I've got the leg up at 90 degrees. I've got it halfway up, right into the groin. See, when we're doing the groin stretch as part of our warm-up, that muscle group you feel getting tense and tight, that's what I'm trying to target here. So, straight away, okay, halfway up the leg, I can feel it already. Okay, it doesn't feel nice, it feels disgusting. So all I'm gonna do, focus on my breathing, start pushing down into that foam roller. Now, I want you to imagine the bone, okay, so that femur, that long bone, I want you to imagine that that long bone is able to curve, a curve around the curvature of the foam roller, okay, so that's going to make you push in hard, and that's going to create what we call a shearing effect. It's going to help grind the hell out of it as we start rolling towards the groin, okay, so what I want you to do is rather than just roll in towards the groin itself, just like any other group, start going in that muscle tissue. Okay, I don't know who you are, it depends how, for me this is horrible, straight away this is not pleasant, but it is always an area tight and it's always an area that you're fighting, so for most people you'll probably find it. Now I'm focusing on just, you can see I'm kind of sliding my leg up and down, trying to keep the weight pushing down into it, but just trying not to roll onto the quads too much, but you can lift the leg up also, okay, but just be conscious. We're trying to, yes, there might be pain in the quads, sure thing, it's definitely worthwhile getting into them, but I'm trying to focus on those adductors, okay? So to get into those adductors, you really have to go for it because they are not the easiest thing to access. So you go for it, okay? Be creative. We're only going to be spending a few minutes on one side and then moving on to the other, okay? If you find an area of really high pain, stop on it. But for me, to be honest, I'm just going to work through from start to finish. So we should be ending up right in the depth, the realm, if you like, of your groin. So not the most dignified of positions, but like I said, needs must. And you're just trying to load as much weight on there. It's a tricky one for a lot of people. You've got to do it on feel, okay? But push down hard into that foam roller and play around with the position of your leg as well. Remember, there's no right or wrong. There's no point looking at me going, right, he's doing that, I better do that. I'm doing this off of feel, okay? I'm trying to indicate you to the area, guide you to the area that we're working on. All I'll say is stay off the quads. You want to feel that you're inside of your leg and just think about that area. When we're doing that squat, elbows into knees during a warm-up, that's the area that feels like it's getting a stretch. That's the area I'm trying to target. And you know how deep that goes into your hips, okay? So you need to get in there. But we're starting from roughly the middle of the leg and working your way up. If you find an area of high pain, which most people probably will, the further up you get, because that's where the tightness is coming from with a lot of people, that's the area you want to work on. Okay, so I'm going to say now you've got 90 seconds. You've got a minute and a half left. Find an area that needs work. If the whole area just feels like it needs a bit of work, then pick one. Or just work through the entire area, going side to side, okay? But I'm getting an area of high pain. Most people will. If your groin's pretty tight, if you feel that restriction when you are squatting to depth, pulling the knees apart, get further up into the groin itself, and that's where you'll discover the tightness and the tissue's a bit tender. Okay, remember, smash and floss to some degree, straightening and lengthening the leg might help, it might not, no, okay, because it's not really affecting too much, those adductors getting lengthened. But play around with it, see what you can get. There's no right or wrong. If it feels like it's making it more effective, then it's right. You can lift, you can rock that leg, okay? You can lift the foot up off the ground, which will help you just get a little bit of a kind of seesaw on it. But, or knee up and down, okay? Just be creative with your position that you're in. It really depends where you're at. But it is an area that you have to put a tremendous amount of weight on to get in. So you're probably feeling that now. A lot of you might be putting maybe not too much body weight on the foam roller and thinking, this isn't too bad. all I would say, that's why I was telling you, you need to try and get that femur and curve it around the foam roller, okay? Really try and drive it in, get it deep into that muscle tissue. So play around with your position. Even the position, don't just think about the position of your leg, okay? Think about the position of your body here. So here I've pinned the area. So even if you try twisting away, you might just get in a bit more. And if you do find that area of high pain, make the most of it while you're on it. Okay, start thinking about finishing up there, and we're going to change sides. So it's not the most easily accessible place to get to. You have to kind of go off a fuel. Now, you could do it with the ball. You'd probably find the ball gets in there better, okay? But this morning, for most people, the foam roller's enough to introduce you to it. So again, I'm getting up. Now, if you work down towards the quads, you're going to get on the quads, okay? Remember, we're trying to get halfway up. If you were wearing a pair of regular shorts like I am, it's roughly where your shorts would start, okay? Unless you're wearing the big, stupid basketball things. So I'm halfway up. I feel it already, okay? Inside of the leg, remember, we're focusing on, not the quads. So don't come onto the quads. That's why you have to get the angle right. You've got the quads, you've got the hamstrings. Imagine that area in between the inside of your leg. Whoa. Okay, so we're on it. This side feels hellish compared to the other side. So you can start off just rocking that leg on the foam roller, slowly working your way up, and when you find an area of high pain, which is what we're getting now, work on it, okay? But it is ultimately, it's about getting a hell of a lot of weight on this foam roller, okay? Yep, it might feel nice if you're just kind of going for it a wee bit, but that's not what we're trying to achieve here, okay? We're trying to untack that muscle tissue and just restore a bit of range. But in order to get stuck in there, you really need to get the weight on. So remember, foam roller, bone, we're curving the bone with the foam roller as we roll. Good. While staying relaxed. And I say it every time, but you'll notice that the pain just feels different. Different feelings of pain depending on what area that we're on. Okay. So we're getting there. Finish this off with a nice kneeling groin stretch and we'll have a damn good glutes and groin mobility overhaul. So make the most of the time that you're doing this. And as always, if you feel a lot of tender tissue in here, it's not an area we do a lot, okay? We don't foam roll this area too much. And if you're not feeling much pain, it just feels uncomfortable, keep working up until you're higher up into the glutes, the groin itself, and you'll probably most definitely find plenty of pain up in there, okay? Because that is where it's more exposed and it's easier to access. Plus, that is where we get a lot of tightness. That's where you'll feel the stretch when you're doing your groin stretch itself. Okay, so it's not pleasant. Push down into the foam roller as hard as you can. And don't forget, we're still scrubbing side to side, left to right. Smash and floss, kind of not really any way to do it here, to be honest. But you can try lifting the leg up higher, but you'll probably find you just end up contracting the muscles. Just be creative with your body position. If you find that area of high pain, just get stuck into it, and we're nearly there. So by all means, experiment using the ball, but it'll be a bit tricky, okay? Last 20 seconds, so you go for it. Last 20 seconds. Let's get it done. Right, well done. Finishing it off nicely with our good old kneeling groin stretch, okay? I love this one. It's a damn good one. Attacks it like no other. It's just like doing more squats, elbows into knees, okay? But it takes it to a whole new level because we can use gravity against it. So first of all, get a good mat, just like the hip capsule, the mat needs to be good. Your knees need to be comfortable, okay? If you've got a long mat and it's not very good, you can double it over on the knees or something like that. Be creative. We need these knees comfortable. You don't want them on a hard floor. Knees, try and get them as wide as you can. Look at my feet, okay? Well, you can't really see them, but they're behind. My feet are behind my knee, in line with my knee. I'm going to spin around the other way. Now you can see from the side because that's more important. So I've got my knees nice and wide apart. Always trying to get the knees wider, but let's get into the stretch first and foremost. I'm down onto the elbows, okay? Get that back like a tabletop, as in get your spine nice and neutral. Doesn't work if you're like this, okay? So get that spine nice and neutral, shoulder blades together, chest proud, not overextending, okay? And all I'm going to do is start pushing. Think about the tailbone, think about the very end of your spine, okay? The pelvis itself. I'm going to think about pushing that back, okay? While pulling my knees apart, okay? And I feel that stretch kick in the groin. Hoofed, okay? I want you to take it to the point it feels like it's at max stretch. Stay there, don't ease off. Focus on your breathing. And then just like any other stretch, we're trying to get better, okay? So if we stayed here for 2 minutes, that would be us maintaining our current mobility, which is, yep, it's fine. But I want you to get better. So with that, every few seconds, just try to take it an inch or two, no, an inch or two, that's quite far. Couple of millimeters at a time, okay? A wee bit further, focus on your breathing. Wee bit further, focus on your breathing. Now, obviously, the more we go, the more uncomfortable it's going to get. But over time, you'll find that you can go further and further and further. As you go further, do not let that back lose form. Do not let the hips start to feel like they're tucking. So if you can see me now, look at me, but don't get out of the position if you can't. Your pelvis, you don't want to start letting it round, okay? Now that's me exaggerating, but that is all that's happening if you're doing that, and I say it every time, is that's you giving in to that tightness. So if I started to look like this, that's not good, okay? That's us moving further but getting nothing out of it. It's kind of counteracting it. So I want to always keep that pelvis nice and neutral. Push back, 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 back. Okay, feel the stretch in hands in the groin. Doesn't it feel nice? Far from it. But we see how we can get a much more intense stretch compared to doing it when we're in that squatting position. Plus, we're completely relaxed. Okay, if you're in that squatting groin position, your quads and everything are firing up, your glutes, you can't hold it too long. Now what you can do is get the arms out a bit further in front of you, straighten them out. And that way you'll know that you're putting more weight on your knees, okay? But I want you to focus on keeping the stretch on the groin. Don't bring the arms out and then start feeling the stretch in your upper back. We don't want that. I want you just to get yourself in a position where you feel like there's not much weight on your arms at all, okay? And we're going to go for 45 more seconds. So take it further, do not ease out. You owe yourself this. This is the last thing we're going to do, and then we're done. You should be at the point furthest at this point. Not back at the start, not the same bit you started at. This should feel like the furthest point in your stretch. 20 more seconds, take it as far as you can. Keep that relaxed position. Sorry, not relaxed position, relaxed state. You'll feel it, it won't feel nice, but it's worthwhile. I want you to slowly start thinking about coming out of this, and when I say slowly, I mean slowly. Okay, don't put your body in a silly position to get out of it fast. Start putting more weight on your arms, start bringing the knees close together. I want you to walk up, stand up and walk around, okay, because you're going to feel that a bit tender now. You need to get the blood flow back in there after we've restricted it. Anyway, glutes and groin is in the bag. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Now there's more things we can do with the glutes and groin, but those are the big main, most effective ones if I was to pick enough to fit into our hours session. So thank you very much. It's a good area to get onto. It was one we used to do a lot of back when we only had flexibility, because it's where a lot of people get tightness, okay? Tightness in the glutes, tightness in the groin, in the hip area in general. That's going to start affecting your posture, and that's where a lot of people start getting pains in the back, tight backs, etc., and start hurting themselves and that's where we tend to feel a lot of the tightness in the first place and what I see people when they're moving around. Anyway, I'm talking waffle. Thank you very much, have a good day, and I'll see you maybe tonight